കേരളം ഇന്ന് ഏറെ ശ്രദ്ധയോടുകൂടി ചർച്ച ചെയ്യുന്ന സിൽവർ ലൈൻ പദ്ധതിയുമായി ബന്ധപ്പെട്ട ആദ്യ DPR തയ്യാറാക്കിയത് ശ്രീ അലോക് കുമാർ വർമ്മയാണ്. അദ്ദേഹമാണ് നമ്മളോടൊപ്പമുള്ളത്. സർ, ഗുഡ് മോർണിംഗ്.
Morning.
Sir, what is your point you are disagreeing?
You see, I would first like to tell you what is in the DPR which people do not know, which has not been discussed as yet. So there are 3-4 things. Number one is that this alignment will have lot of horizontal curves and lot of vertical curves also, which is completely unusual for a railway line, particularly for a railway line which you are going to say run at 200 km per hour. This is a very serious flaw with this whole alignment, and that will make it a normal line. I mean, if you try to make a line on this alignment, it won't be able to run at more than 100 or 120 kmph, because at high speed it will be like a roller coaster, It will be like a roller coaster going up and down and horizontal curves. At some places you have a horizontal curve and a vertical curve also. So that is one thing. Number two, which even I found surprising, was that this line is going to have lot of tunnels. In fact, there will be 120 tunnels. Of these 120 tunnels, about 110 will be made by digging a trench. They will dig a trench, about 15 to 20 meter deep trench, and they will support the side wall somehow, and then they will make the tunnel inside and then do the backfilling, So it is called cut and cover. You see, cut and cover is usually adopted for very shallow tunnels in metros, which are just 2 or 3 meters underneath the road. Okay. You normally make tunnels for metros under the road. So it is at a shallow depth and it does not affect the surrounding buildings also. But here, this trenches will be about 15 to 20 meter deep. So it is going to have a serious consequences for the structures, which are there already. And they have not done any survey to find out how many buildings are nearby and what will be the effect on stability of those buildings due to digging up of such deep trenches, Then, this Kozhikode station will be inside a tunnel in a huge cavern, in a underground hall, which is also about 36 meter deep, So first of all, you will need a very big escalator to come down to the station. And then, the most, even more serious is the fact that this tunnel, which is at a shallow depth, because 36 meters is not depth, not deep enough for a tunnel. So this tunnel will be going in a very thickly populated area, in the south of Kozhikode. And they are acknowledging in the report, they have not done any building condition survey. If you undertake any such construction where there are already buildings and underneath you are digging a tunnel, you are required to do a building condition survey, that these buildings will be able to withstand construction. They won't develop cracks. In the worst case, they may even collapse. Okay. So this is another serious flaw, that you have those, tunnels with deep trenches. And then here you have tunnel, which is at a shallow depth, normal tunnel at shallow depth, which is going under the existing structures in a very thickly populated area of Kozhikode, and you have not done any building survey. Another abnormality I find is that, this station at Thrissur, it will be on a very high viaduct, because there are 3 major road over bridges, ROBs, on the north side of Thrissur. So this will be a very high viaduct, and this station, they are saying they will provide 6 loop lines. I don't know why they need 6 loop lines, for this line. So this huge station building will be coming up on a high viaduct. So my conclusion from all these, things is that they have not done proper ground survey. You see, as I have already said, they prepared the feasibility report without any ground survey. And now they have not done a proper ground survey. They are accepting that they have not done any geological mapping. You see, the first thing that you have to do to assess the ground condition is a geological mapping of the entire corridor from one end to the other end, because geological mapping will tell you which are the problem areas, where risk is high, where geotechnical risk is high. So it will tell, then on the basis of that report, you can plan your alignment, where I should have, where I can have high embankment, where I can have, shallow tunnels, where I can have deep trenches. So they have not done any geological survey. So as I have been saying earlier also, this is a technically infeasible alignment. And now this new thing about it being a roller coaster, that renders it useless. This project, I have no hesitation in saying that this plan should be immediately scrapped. And if you want to make a new line, then you have to start afresh. And there you have to first decide whether it will be an integrated line or it will be a standalone line.
Sir, let me know how it is affected environmentally in Kerala.
You see, environmentally, it will have very serious effects. For the very simple reason that it's a highly flood-prone area. It is a very sort of a mid-highlands has a very problematic topography of small hills, and in between you have wetlands. So it's a very problematic area. And rivers which are coming down from Western Ghats, they keep on changing their course also. So this is not a this is a very flood-prone area with high risk of damaging your railway line, and your line can work like a dam and obstruct the flow of water. So unlike the existing line, which is for 100 km/h only and which follows the contour, it does not have high embankments, it does not have high cuttings, whereas this alignment will have very high embankments up to 8 to 10 meter high, and it will have deep trenches and cuttings, And these embankments will be supported by retaining walls, which according to report will be up to 6 meter high. So this is absurd. I mean, this will, there are only two possibilities, in case of a very serious flood. Either it will act as a dam and spoil, and worsen the situation. Water will accumulate and more houses and all upstream will be inundated in water. And the second possibility is that the track will be washed away, the embankment will be washed away, and then there will be a deluge for people living downstairs. So it is really very bad, very sad, that they have not done, they have prepared the alignment, they have prepared the DPR, they have submitted it to Railway Board, and they are hoping that it will be cleared also, and they have not done any hydrological survey. You see, even just 2 years ago, when now in fact it is 2.5 years ago, when they were preparing feasibility report, they should have done a proper hydrological study along with other geological, geotechnical investigation, and they should have done a proper and thorough environmental impact assessment. Now there is no point in doing it now, Now you have finalized everything. There is no sense. You will just cook up and fabricate this thing, So this is this project is undoubtedly going to have it poses a very high risk to the flood situation in Kerala. And second thing is, because as I have told you, there are such huge viaducts, and then there are high embankments and there are tunnels, so you will need a lot of building material, sand, aggregate, stones. So this will be, my rough estimate is about 3 times of a normal railway line. It is requiring so much of material. So this is going to create a massive problem, There will be a pressure to go on for illegal mining and all kinds of activities can start. And if you have to bring the material from outside, say from Karnataka or Tamil Nadu, then it will greatly add up to the cost also. So these issues are very important,
Now, railway is saying that they can do upgradation within these 5 years. So that upgradation, how it is
You see, as I said, this alignment is infeasible, so there is no question of talking about when they will be able to complete. They will never be able to complete it. It will go on and on. Either it will be dropped after some time, scrapped, or it can, as it happens in our country, the project can go on lingering, like the Kashmir rail link project, 20 years. So this may also go on for 20 years, 30 years, on and on, causing lot of problems for the state and people of the state. So there is no point in talking about when they will be able to complete it. The simple is that this proposal has to be dropped.
Sir,
And I'll tell you one more thing. This DPR makes it very clear that Southern Railway is already planning to build third and fourth line. Okay. And work from Trivandrum to Shoranur has already been sanctioned, and they are carrying out detailed survey. In fact, they will be spending something like 5,000 to 10,000 crore rupees in this whole project. You see, once you upgrade this, Trivandrum to Thrissur, to Shoranur, and then you are going to add new platforms and new lines at Trivandrum also, much of your problem will be solved, Then you have to just upgrade the remaining line and be done with it, So, you see, you will have a situation, where you will have this standalone line, semi-high speed line, and then you will have a competing Indian railway line, which is integrated and connected to the whole network. So, I mean, they have made very optimistic assumptions, that even people from sleeper class and from non-AC buses and all, they will shift to Silver Line. So that is not going to hold, If there is an improvement in the existing railway line, and if government does something to improve, roads also, like in Kerala, roads have got a lot of blind turns, which is also a cause of unsafe conditions and high accidents on roads in Kerala. If Kerala government can improve the roads by removing these blind curves, blind turns, by widening and this thing, which is not very difficult, then the condition on roads will also improve. So this project, you see, this project as a standalone is not at all a good idea. Kerala needs a high-speed line, semi-high-speed line, but then it should be integrated, so that it will not just serve the needs of a few people traveling within this corridor. If it is integrated, it will serve the needs of a lot of people, and even for trains going outside the country, going to other states also. So Kerala needs a high-speed line, but it should be an integrated line on broad gauge.
sir, some people are saying that this line will be divide Kerala into two.
You see, they are not wrong. You see, even I was surprised, when I read the DPR. They are saying, DPR is saying that they will be making walls, on either side of this thing, and the walls will be about 3 to 4 meter high, You see, logical thing would have been that you have to just make a fencing, so that people and animals, they don't come on the track. There is no encroachment. But what they are writing in the DPR, this is surprising. They are saying that if we provide a wall, then we can put advertisements on the wall, and we will have earnings, commercial earnings. So you have to decide, what is more important, a little bit of commercial earnings or the, this convenience of people living nearby, environmental effect on the floods. There is no. People are very right, in saying that it will be like a wall of China. I mean, it's a good comparison. It will divide. Because these high embankments will also require retaining walls, and DPR is accepting that the retaining walls will be something like up to 6 meter high. So you have, high embankment with retaining walls, then you have boundary walls also of masonry. So this is like a wall of China. There is no, it will divide Divide in this sense means that people who are living on one side will find it difficult to come on this side, and people who are on this side will find it difficult to go on that side. So
E. Sridharan also saying that this is not financially, environmentally, or technically, it's not feasible. You are all.
you see, this whole plan has been prepared in a very, very unprofessional manner, and I will say in a very incompetent manner. So if you try to make a line on this, it will be every kind of disaster. It will be a financial disaster, it will be a environmental disaster, it will be a social disaster. I don't know why people are not able to see this. When you like I have told you so many things. If somebody does not believe so, then let them come out with facts, and contradict what I am saying. Nobody should have any doubt, this plan needs to be thrown into the Arabian Sea.
Then why, sir? What is the propaganda behind this?
I think what is happening is, that there is lot of false propaganda going on in the state, like, KRDCL, and now even some of the politicians, they are saying, that high speed is not possible on broad gauge. No, this is a very silly argument. Gauge has nothing to do with speed. Gauge has no impact on speed, and I don't know how people have come out with this theory that gauge affects the speed. In fact, broad gauge is better for India because, like Kerala, rest of India also has got soft soils. So India's broad gauge is suitable for Indian conditions. There is no question of going for a standard gauge to have bullet trains or high-speed trains. It is, and in the same manner, lot of propaganda is being made, that this line will become profitable within 2 years, or that construction will be completed in 3 years. So this is all, all very irresponsible and deceitful propaganda going on in this state. And I think here, a lot of people are trying to convey that this plan is senseless, I hope the politicians also realize that this plan is absolutely worthless, very bad, and it will be disastrous for Kerala. It should be dropped immediately.
തീർച്ചയായിട്ടും വളരെ ശക്തമായിട്ടുള്ള വാദഗതികൾ കൊണ്ട് ഇപ്പോഴത്തെ സാഹചര്യത്തിൽ സിൽവർ ലൈൻ കേരളത്തിൻ്റെ സാഹചര്യങ്ങൾക്ക് ഗുണകരമല്ല, ഈ പദ്ധതിക്ക് മുന്നിൽ വ്യക്തമായിട്ടുള്ള താല്പര്യങ്ങളുണ്ട് എന്നതൊക്കെയാണ് അദ്ദേഹം ഉയർത്തുന്ന വാദഗതികൾ. ക്യാമറമാൻ ജോഗേഷ് സിംഗിനോടൊപ്പം ഡൽഹിയിൽ നിന്നും ആർ രാധാകൃഷ്ണൻ, 24.